Hi guys, Fo from FoAlexander.com, a faith, fashion, and lifestyle blog. I'm here to give you a tutorial on this smock maxi dress. Stay tuned for details. For this tutorial, you of course need fabric, you'll need coordinating thread, and then you'll also need some pins. So I actually got this fabric from Joann. I think it was like $11.99 a yard. There was a sale. I believe it's regular price in the $20 range, maybe $21, $22. But definitely check out their sales to find your fabric on sale. And of course, this is the special fabric for smock. So it's very stretchy at the top, and then of course it's plain fabric at the bottom. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to measure your material. Now when I got this cut, I specifically asked the clerk at the cutting counter to cut me enough fabric so that it will go around my body. And because she's probably made dresses like this before, she recommended that I get a yard because she felt like it would be enough to cover my top and I would still have room for my hips. So when you get your fabric, you want to talk to the clerk. You may even ask her to pull out maybe a yard to see if it can go around your body, or you can take some tape measure and kind of figure out how much fabric you'll need. So for this one, I actually have a yard. What you want to do is you want to take the fabric, you want to wrap it around your body as though it is a dress. You want to line up your edges, and you're simply just going to take your pins, get it snug so that it's not falling down, because of course you want your dress to stay up, and you want to pin down the sides. Now for me, I'm going to do it a little tighter around my bust area just so I know that it's going to stay up with the strapless bra. And then when I get to my hip area, I'm just going to make sure it's a little bit looser so that the dress can actually flow. Now when you pin it, you want to make sure that you pin it with the wrong side out, because once we pin it, we're going to go straight to the sewing machine and we're going to sew it together. So get your fabric, wrap it around, take your pins, and you're going to pin it down such that it's snug around your bust area, and then you can pin it all the way down to the floor. Now the good thing about this fabric is that it's already finished. The top edge is finished and the bottom edge is also finished. They've serged the bottom edge. So you can leave the bottom edge as it is, or if you want to be a little bit fancy, or if you're a little bit shorter, you can just turn it under and do a hem. So either way, I'm just going to leave the ends as it is, already finished. I'm going to take my measurements, pin it, and then we'll go to the sewing machine to sew this up. Okay, so I've gone ahead and put my coordinating thread into my sewing machine. So my sewing machine is ready to go. And so right now I'm just going to get ready to start doing my stitch of the fabric. So as I told you guys, I went ahead and pinned my fabric. So well over an inch here that I want to sew into as far as the seam allowance. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to make sure it's lined up here. I'm going to back stitch, and then I'm going to go straight down following the path of my pins. Now I haven't pinned it yet, but you're going to make sure that the hem of your fabric is also lined up. Remember I said that I was going to use the finish end that they have already on the fabric, so I'm not going to hem it. So I want to make sure that that's definitely lined up. So one thing to note, typically when you use stretch material, you want to use a zigzag stitch, but since we're stitching vertically and there's no stretch in that direction, we are fine with the straight stitch. If we were to be stitching horizontally, we would use a zigzag stitch such that your stitch will move and stretch with your material, much like it's doing here. So we're going to straight stitch all the way down. So make note of where you pinned it. You want to start from the top, do a back stitch, and then you want to do a straight stitch all the way down. Now when we're done, you can finish your edge by cutting it and giving the garment maybe a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and then you can zigzag the edges to finish it. What I'm going to do is just use my serger, and I'm going to go in and finish the raw edges off, and then we'll be done. Now that I'm at the end of the stretch material and I'm on the regular fabric, what I'm going to do is line up my raw edges with about a 5/8 inch seam allowance there, so that it's even all the way down. One thing to note for this particular material, there are stripes at the bottom, so I did my best to try to match them up. It's not going to be too noticeable if they aren't matched up, but I did make sure that the ends were completely matched up and that the stripes were also matched up. We're done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my serger and I'm going to finish off the raw edges. It's going to be critical, especially for this fabric, that I finish the raw edges, because obviously it's fraying and we don't want our fabric to unravel. So I'm going to go pull out my serger, finish off these edges, and I'll be done. As you can see, I went ahead and finished the edges with my serger. Again, if you don't have a serger, you just want to use a zigzag stitch on your edges so that your material doesn't fray. So it looks very neat on the inside, and that's the end. This is their finished edge, and of course this is my finished edge. And for my serger, I just use 3 threads instead of 4. It helps me when I'm buying coordinating threads to not have to buy 4. So I just usually buy 3, and this is the coordinating thread that goes with the material that I use to finish the edge. So now we're honestly done. All we have to do is go in and press the seam open. So you want to open up your dress and you want to go in and you want to take your iron and press that seam open. And here's what I was talking about, the stripes. They didn't line up here, but the important thing is that the actual hem lines up. So I'm not too concerned about the stripes not lining up as long as my hem actually lines up. So again, go ahead and go to your ironing board and you want to iron out your iron your garment out, and then press out your seams as well, and then you'll be done.